morning, friends. Greetings and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I specialize in using nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and often deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health issue. That's why we're here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 29 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes and hypertension and obesity and skin diseases like psoriasis and eczema and rosacea and acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing system, regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your calls. On The Bright Side, try to call in early so we can get to as many calls as possible. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you heard me on Coast to Coast last night and you didn't get on, give us a call today, and we'll get you first up. Tell our call screener that you didn't get on yesterday on the program or on Coast to Coast last night. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on the program, please go to brightsideben.com. You can order products right off the website. You can also check out my blog, criticalhealthnews.com or pharmacistben.com. Thank you to John T. Collier and Robert Lundgren who set those up. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team. Start yourself a longevity business. Make some money spreading the word about the importance and power of a good nutritional supplement program. For a one-time $25 fee, you can start yourself a business, or you can just get your products at the wholesale price if you like. 866-735-2470 is the phone number for the Brightside Ben team, or you can sign up right off the websites, brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, and pharmacistben.com. If you want to purchase any of my skin health products, go to truthtreatments.com. Make sure you check out our retinol gel. Retinol 5% gel, no preservatives, no emulsifiers, no surfactants, no fillers of any kind, just retinol, vitamin C, and transdermal penetrating agents, and that is it. You shouldn't have to pay for preservatives. You shouldn't have to pay for perfume. You shouldn't have to pay for emulsifiers, not to mention the fact that they're not good for your skin anyway. If you've ever used Retin-A, by the way, and you couldn't use it, one of the main reasons you couldn't use it is because it's got sodium lauryl sulfate in it and propylene glycol in it, and it's got irritants in it, and it's got wax in it, and it's got preservatives in it. It's not necessarily the retinoic acid. We'll talk about retinol and retinoic acid a little bit probably next week or so. We spent a lot of time the last couple weeks talking about that, but it's hard to avoid talking about retinol and vitamin C for that matter when you're talking hyperpigmentation, and that's what we've been addressing here on the Bright Side now for a couple of weeks, not as a skin issue necessarily. And that's a key idea when it comes to skin health. I've been working with the skin now since 1983. I made my first skin product working for the Blistex Corporation in 1983. And I've been doing a lot of formulating since then, skincare formulating. I've sold a lot of skincare products. I've done a lot of work with the skin. And I'm telling you, if you got eczema, psoriasis, hyperpigmentation, acne, oily skin, whatever, if you got wrinkles, if you've got dry skin, if you got any skin health issue, please understand 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, it involves the internal milieu. It involves internal conditions in the body. It involves internal structures in the body. It involves the circulatory system. It involves the glandular system. It especially involves the adrenal glands. Your stress glands. Yes, there is a major, major relationship between biochemical distress, emotional distress, mental distress, and even spiritual distress, and the health of the skin. We've been talking about it. The adrenal glands, there's so many things you could do for your adrenal glands if you're feeling like you need better skin, like you're hyperpigmenting, like you want more energy, improved hormone health, if you're going through menopausal symptoms. These are all issues that can be addressed by working with the adrenal glands. And also blood pressure. Your adrenal glands are your blood pressure glands. They control your blood pressure. If you got hypertension, folks, the chances are pretty darn good you're dealing with an adrenal health issue, adrenal stress issue. If this sounds like you or a friend or a loved one, you have a lot of options for feeling better by addressing adrenal health. The adrenal glands are your blood pressure glands, along with your kidneys. Adrenal means sitting on top of the kidneys, and the adrenals and the kidneys are your major blood pressure centers, especially your adrenals, which makes sense because when you're under some kind of stress, when you're under some kind of burden, you need more pressure, you need more blood pressure, you need more oxygen delivered to the cells. So when the adrenal glands either sense low oxygen or sense an emergency, they will initiate changes in the chemistry of the blood to get more pressure going, to get more delivery of oxygen and delivery of nutrients, and also detoxification. This is why the adrenal glands are one of the centers of attack by prescription medicine for lowering blood pressure. ACE inhibitor drugs, if you've heard of lisinopril or losartan, these are drugs that work with a major adrenal hormone that nobody ever talks about. We talk about cortisol all the time. We talk about adrenal stress hormones, epinephrine or adrenaline, but we don't really talk about this hormone called aldosterone. I'll bet you some of you guys haven't even heard of this stuff. Aldosterone is a super important adrenal hormone, super important for controlling blood pressure. In a 2010 paper published in the journal Neuroscience and Behavioral Reviews, researchers from Harvard Medical School showed that the adrenal hormone, aldosterone, A-L-D-O-S-T-E-R-O-N-E, it's a steroid hormone, sterone, it's a forgotten steroid hormone. Researchers showed in this paper that aldosterone is an important and, as they say in the paper, forgotten link between psychological stress and heart disease. If you've ever thought that the whole emotional and mental and psychological factor that's associated with circulatory problems and heart disease, a leading cause of death in this country and around the world, is airy-fairy, you thought that this was kind of silly, that your emotions and your mental nature and your spiritual nature and these sort of abstract ideas are related to the physical body, well, here's your link, aldosterone. At least according to this paper. Not a day goes by without us mentioning the link between blood pressure and oxygen and how the overall health of the body shows up. And a major component of this link between oxygenation, respiration, and blood pressure and overall health are the adrenal glands. The adrenal glands are constantly monitoring blood oxygen and carbon dioxide. And when oxygen drops, carbon dioxide builds up, stress hormones and aldosterone are immediately secreted out of the adrenal glands to raise the blood pressure in some areas and also lower it in others. In this paper, published in the journal Neuroscience and Behavioral Reviews, scientists point out that while adrenaline and cortisol get all the press, when it comes to the stress response or when it comes to how the body handles stress, aldosterone may actually be as or more important when it comes to, at least when it comes to controlling blood pressure. So what does aldosterone do? How does it affect pressure? Well, it controls fluid and minerals, salt and their interaction between fluid, the interaction between salt and fluids. The body uses these salts, which we call electrolytes, potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium, to change the fluid levels in the blood. It's a very interesting relationship between salts, electrolytes, and fluid. Salts, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium specifically, are fluid magnets. They suck up water. This is why they'll put, in some cities, some municipal areas, they'll sprinkle salt on the roads, because salt on ice, I should say, when it gets icy, or when it gets, during the wintertime, when it gets slippery on the roads, they'll sprinkle salt on the roads. The salt will suck up the moisture out of the ice, and the ice will melt. Salt is actually a type of antifreeze because it has this ability to suck up water. Well, the same sucking up water property, magnet property of salt has a major impact, has a major role to play on the fluid volume of the blood, how fat the blood is, how filled with fluid it is, and this is one of the ways that pressure is controlled. Hang tight, I'll explain when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben, 844-236-6010 is our number. Got lines open for you. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Got a line open for you. We'll get to your calls here in just a moment. Try to get we'll get your calls here in our second segment, or in this segment, so we can squeeze in as many as possible. If you have questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls. And also special welcome to our new listeners from coast to coast. If you didn't catch my interview last night with George, I was on with him for 3 hours. It'll be posted, the interview will be posted at criticalhealthnews.com. You'll also find articles and blog posts at criticalhealthnews.com as well. And you can purchase your longevity products right off the website, criticalhealthnews.com. Also, pharmacistben.com, also brightsideben.com. And, of course, we welcome you on the Brightside Ben team. If you're interested in helping spread the word about how important a good nutritional supplement program can be, if you want to get your products at the wholesale price, and if you want to be an entrepreneur, and if you want to be an opinion leader, if you want to change lives, that's really what this is about, you guys. Yeah, we're going to make some money. Well, you're going to make, there's as much money as you want, really. You can make as little or as much as you want by helping spread the word. If you know anything about multi-level or network marketing, the compensation program from Longevity is the best in the business. That's why the company's been around for so long. And, of course, the products are impeccable. And the message is sterling. And you got Dr. Wallach, you got myself, you got Dr. Glidden, you've got healthcare professionals who can guide you through the entire process. In any case, you can find out all about it at brightsideben.com, criticalhealthnews.com, also pharmacistben.com, or you can call the Brightside Ben phone team at 866-735-2470. Hang tight if you're on hold. We'll get to you here in just a moment. I want to continue talking a bit here about aldosterone. You don't really hear about this hormone, but it's very, very important for controlling fluids and minerals. This is how it works to control blood pressure, by monitoring oxygen levels in the blood and secreting electrolytes into the blood in order to expand the blood volume and to increase the pressure when there is an emergency or some kind of stressor. Increasing the pressure of the blood is the way the body improves delivery of oxygen, delivery of nutrients, and also detoxification under conditions of emergency. Calming the body down is the way you lower blood pressure. You guys, there's 80 million Americans with what they call essential hypertension. And that means hypertension or high blood pressure that doctors are mystified by. Well, I'm telling you, it's no mystery. You don't have to be mystified by your high blood pressure. It's a sign of duress, like all health issues. And our duress glands, our stress glands, our emergency glands, are our adrenal glands. Cortisol and adrenaline, those are your stress hormones. Those are the ones that get all the press when it comes to blood pressure. Well, aldosterone is really your main blood pressure controlling hormone. And this is how ACE inhibitor drugs, or one of the ways that ACE inhibitor drugs like lisinopril and losartan work. When the body senses low oxygen, or when the body needs more oxygen for getting out of a jam, aldosterone will get involved into aldosterone levels will get up, will increase. They'll get into the act, so to speak, pulling minerals into the blood, which attracts water, raises the blood volume, and increases pressure. And this salt pulling effect, the salt water pulling effect, I should say, raises the volume. And this is the logic of the so-called low salt diet, which, by the way, is an example of medical nonsense at its finest. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure by going on a low-salt diet, good luck, because aldosterone controls things. So you go on a low-salt diet, but you're going to have more aldosterone, and you're going to end up pumping more salt into your blood. You can't control your salt content to lower your blood pressure, or the salt content of your diet to control your blood pressure very effectively, and you can't go on a low-salt diet very effectively because you're going to crave salt. We need salt. It's a mighty 90 essential nutrient, what we call salt. And salts, what we call salt really is table salt or sodium chloride, but salts from a chemical perspective, or in the body anyway, are potassium, sodium, calcium, chloride, and magnesium. And these are all involved in controlling the blood pressure. And aldosterone is our salt control hormone. And it's one of, if not the determining factor in assuring how much salt we're going to have in our blood. In times of stress, aldosterone controls all of these various relationships between the electrolytes and between the fluid. So working on your aldosterone levels by using adrenal support is key for blood pressure. Adrenal support nutrients are endless. Oxygen's the best adrenal support nutrient, and it's the best way to lower your blood pressure. Now, I've said it a million times probably. Get yourself a blood pressure monitor. Anybody who's on a prescription drug or multiple prescription drugs or who's dealing with a chronic degenerative health condition needs a home blood pressure monitor so that you can see for yourself the impact of your lifestyle and dietary choices on your blood pressure, of the way we conduct our lives on how our hypertension shows up. It's not a drug issue. It's not a doctor issue. It's a lifestyle and diet issue. And this is good news. I'm not here to beat anybody up. This is great news because what it says is we can control something as fundamental as our circulatory system health and our blood pressure health ourselves with no middleman. Medicine means middleman. A medicine is a middleman between us and our own divine healing powers. By controlling your respiration, blowing off carbon dioxide, which is just as important as getting oxygen in, is the best way, the easiest way, the most non-toxic way, the simplest way to lower your blood pressure. And if you have a blood pressure cuff, you can observe it for yourself. I know I've said it so many times, but I'll say it again. We've got a lot of new listeners. Get a blood pressure cuff. It costs you $80 for an easy-to-use one. You get it off Amazon or off the internet. You just stick your arm in the cuff, wrap it up, and press a button. And then just sit there. And 30 seconds later, you'll know your blood pressure. So if you got a degenerative health crisis and you're on a medication, if you're diabetic, if you're overweight, if you're don't even know you have a degenerative health crisis, you're just concerned about aging, get yourself a blood pressure cuff, take your blood pressure, then practice slow, deep breathing for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, slowly in through the nose, 15 seconds in, slowly out through the nose, 15 seconds out. Do it for 2 or 3 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, and then take your blood pressure. Watch what happens. Take your blood pressure, then go take a hot shower, and then take your blood pressure again. Watch what happens. Take your blood pressure, fill up the tub with hot water, go sit in a hot bath for whatever, 20 minutes, half an hour, come out and take your blood pressure again. These are all ways you're going to lower your blood pressure naturally, without prescription drugs, without doctors, without Obamacare, and without toxicity. All right, there's wonderful nutrients for the adrenal glands. I talked about B5 yesterday. I love this stuff, man. Pantothenic acid, B5, vitamin B12, also stupendously important for the adrenal glands. Zinc, iodine, vitamin C. These are all incredibly important nutrients for the adrenal glands. Anything you could do to stabilize blood sugar is important for the adrenal glands. Of course, your electrolytes are also important for your adrenal glands. Then there's 2 hormone-like substances you can buy in the drugstore, or the health food store, I should say, or the drugstore, or on the internet. Hormone-like substances. Actually, they are hormones that are also wonderful for the adrenal glands. They help relax the body. And everybody needs to know about these 2 hormones, especially as we get older. They're readily available. They're easy to utilize. They're cheap. And they got wonderful health benefits. There's the music. And I apologize because I wanted to get to some phone calls, but we didn't do it. All right, well, we'll get to you when we come back from our break. Hang tight. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We'll be back after this. We're back on The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thank you for joining us. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive page at brightsideben.com. All our programs are archived. If you miss a program, we've got 4+ years of wonderful health information that you don't hear on other radio programs. I'm a biochemistry geek, and my mission in life is to help everybody understand their own biochemistry as simple and as easy, as simply and as easily as they can. And that's what I try to do every day on The Bright Side, is try to take biochemistry, how our bodies work, and simplify it so it's palatable and digestible and easy for us to understand. If we don't understand how our bodies work at the most fundamental levels, at the biochemistry level, and it's not that complicated, if we don't understand it, we become victims. We become sheep led to slaughter, and that's really what our medical paradigm has done to us. This is why we've got more doctors per capita than any other culture in the world, but we are simultaneously among the sickest cultures on the planet. And when it comes to the industrialized nations, when it comes to the wealthy nations of the West, The United States, maybe among or maybe the wealthiest nation in the world, but we are far, far, far from the healthiest. Between life expectancy and infant mortality and obesity and diabetes, it's almost endless how sick we are in terms of statistics. And in large part, this is because we've got a medical model that does not serve us, that abuses us, yes, abuses us, exploits us, leverages us for financial gain. And we can't blame them. We got to blame ourselves because we're complicit. We got a medical model that says you can do whatever the heck you want in terms of your lifestyle and forget nutritional supplements because that's just wacky. But our prescription drugs and our surgical procedures and our diagnostics, oh, that's really where it's at for when it comes to health. No, it's not. It's manipulative, it's evil, and we can't blame them. It's like the old story of the scorpion and the frog, you know? The scorpion gets on the frog's back and the scorpion asks to get on the frog's back, and the frog says, no, I'm not going to let you on my back. You're going to bite me. I have to be stupid. And the scorpion says, I'm not going to bite you. And the frog goes into the water, says, all right, scorpion, I'll give you a ride. Scorpion gets on the frog's back, and the frog goes in the water. And sure enough, halfway through the river, the scorpion bites the frog. And the frog goes, you stupid scorpion, you bit me. What would you do that for? Now I'm going to drown, you're going to drown. That was the dumbest thing you could have done. What were you thinking? The scorpion goes, I'm a scorpion. That's what I do. You know, scorpions bite. Doctors cut and drug and have medical procedures. It's not their fault. This is how they're trained. It's our fault for being complicit. By listening to The Bright Side, by listening to this program, by checking out the archives, by beginning to employ some of these super common sense logical techniques like deep breathing and massages and hot tubs and changing the way you eat and nutritional supplementation, we can stay away from the doctor's office, we can stay out of the medical model, and we can take care of ourselves. No middleman required, no medicine man required. A medicine man is a middleman. Medicine is a middle agent. It's an insinuating agent that sticks itself between us and our healing properties. Do you need medicine, by the way? Yes, occasionally you do. Pain pills, antibiotics, occasionally you need medicine. And even if you have some kind of long-term degenerative crisis, sometimes you need medicine too. But your main object, if you're on a prescription drug, folks, your main object should be to wean yourself off of that, to figure out how to wean yourself off of that. Nobody, this is a pharmacist speaking now, nobody should be on a prescription drug for a long term. That's not the role of prescription drugs. That's what they were told. Oh, you're going to be on this medicine the rest of your life. No. If you're on a medicine the rest of your life, what that means is that you're not participating, or you're not being taught how to participate in your own health non-medically. Anyway, time to hit our phones. 844-236-6010. Angel in Ohio, what's going on? Welcome to The Bright Side.
Hello?
Hello, Angel. What is up?
Yeah, in the 70s and early 80s, there was a lot of talk about B17, Laetrile.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've not heard about that for a long time. I was wondering, is there any efficacy in B17?
I'm not buying it. It's more, it's a drug, although it's a vitamin drug.
Oh, it is?
Well, no, it's not really a drug. It's a vitamin drug. It's not regulated. It comes from apricot seeds and bitter almonds. We talk on this program about how plants and how seeds don't want to be eaten. This is the problem with gluten. Gluten and Laetrile have a lot in common. They're both phytoweaponry. They're plant weapons. Laetrile is a toxic compound. I believe it's a cyanide-based compound that's I'm pretty sure, maybe it's not. I take that back. I don't think there's cyanide in there. But it's a medicinal compound that's found in almonds and apricot seeds. And it's got anti-cancer properties. But the thing is, cancer lives in a cancer environment. As long as you have your cancer environment going, you may temporarily do something for your tumor or for the cancer. But as long as you have the environment that's conducive to cancer, it's coming back. So I'm not buying it. Yeah, you might get some temporary benefits, but as long as you got the toxic environment that's conducive to cancer, you're going to have the cancer. That's why you don't kill cancer. Cancer is us. Cancer is not an enemy. It's not an alien that has come from another galaxy and invaded your body. It's your own cells. Except it's your own cells that are at wit's end, that don't know what else to do, so they start dividing rapidly. In order for cells to grow appropriately so we can actually have a body, a lot of things have to go right. Growth is regulated. How cells grow is controlled. You can't have overgrowth. You can't have undergrowth. You have to have just right growth. When a cell doesn't get the nutrients it needs over the course of decades, when a cell doesn't get the oxygen it needs over the course of decades, when a cell is swimming in toxicity, from sugar especially, over the course of decades, it doesn't know what else to do, so it switches into this primitive way of being, this primitive way of existing, where it divides really rapidly and doesn't do anything else but divide and suck up nutrients, and that's what we call cancer. So the way you deal with cancer is by changing the environment of the body. Something as simple as stopping eating can have a beneficial effect on carcinogenesis. Fasting. Just Google fasting and cancer. Fasting can even help your chemotherapy work better. So I'm not a big believer in any of these non-medicinal killing cancer strategies. Now, if you have cancer and you don't know what else to do, try the Laetrile, and nobody should be telling us, the FDA shouldn't be telling us what we can do and what we can't do, but the real way you want to work with cancer, first of all, you want to prevent it by keeping the blood clean. But if you have it, you want to figure out how to clean the blood using fasting, using oxygen, using nutrition, using mental and emotional, and yes, even spiritual strategies. I'm going to have a guest on in a couple of weeks. And this is a good friend of mine, and she's actually a physician, right? She had metastatic breast cancer a couple of years ago. Guess what? She didn't want to do chemotherapy. She's a doctor. Go figure, right? She didn't want to do chemotherapy. She knows what it is. So you know what she did? She started using spiritual techniques. She started using nutritional supplementation. She changed the way her diet. She changed her diet. This is stage 3 metastatic breast cancer that this woman had. All right, I saw her a couple of weeks ago. She looks awesome. 3 years after, guess what? It's in remission. No drugs, no Laetrile, only spiritual, mental, emotional techniques, nutritional strategies, dietary strategies, exercise, just common sense ways that we take care of the body. We'll have her on the program here hopefully in a couple of weeks. I hope I helped, Angela. I'm not buying Laetrile. That's probably why you haven't heard it. Thanks for calling. All right, hang tight if you're on hold. We'll get to you when we come back. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side from the journal Cancer. How spiritual beliefs relate to cancer patients' physical, mental, and social well-being. Patients who report greater overall religiousness and spirituality also reported better physical health, greater ability to perform their usual daily tasks, and fewer physical symptoms of cancer and treatment. This is not airy-fairy, folks. This is from the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa. Quote, these relationships were particularly strong in patients who experienced greater emotional aspects of religion and spirituality, including a sense of meaning and purpose in life, as well as a connection to source larger than oneself, unquote, said lead author Heather Jim, Ph.D. of the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, Florida. Folks, this idea of the emotional nature and the mental nature and the spiritual nature needs to be addressed if we're not healthy. And it's not airy-fairy Boulder, Colorado hippie talk. This is hardcore biochemistry. Thank you to Gina, who has sent me an email informing me that, yes, indeed, there is cyanide in vitamin B17. I thought there was. Thank you, Gina. Appreciate that. Gina's one of my super smart listeners. Esthetician and biochemist and very pretty woman. Thank you so much, Gina. I appreciate that. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to Dan in Missouri. What's going on? How you doing, buddy? Dan Moe. It says on my chart here on my screen. Dan Moe.
Yes.
Yes, Dan.
Yes, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I had a question. Former competitive athlete, currently still active in sports. The nature of my call is regarding just cartilage, bone, and regeneration of that as well.
Yes.
Preface, if I could, I
Sure.
also changed my diet from meat. I don't eat any meat, and I'm concerned that may have something to do with it as well. If I can.
Doesn't. No, meat, in fact, could be a problem. As much protein value as we get from meat, there's inflammatory factors in meat. If you're not eating organic and hormone-free, then you have to deal with all the toxins they give the animals. Even organic meat, you don't know what really, because there's toxins in the air. There's toxins in the water. So you don't really know when it comes to organic. But if you're eating normally, like a standard American diet, you're eating hamburgers and steak, etc., that's definitely not quality food. But you can get lots of good nitrogen value from veggies. Now, it's unfortunate because meat should be a valuable food, and eggs and dairy as well. But it's not like you absolutely need to have meat. So what do you do for cartilage degradation or joint degradation or bones getting thinner? All of these, Dan, are a sign that the body is breaking down. It's a generic sign. It's not a bone or joint problem. It's a generic body problem. You're also running higher risks for your blood vessels to break down. You're running higher risk for strokes. You're running higher risk for aneurysms. You're running higher risks for wrinkles and in skin collagen and skin connective tissue breaking down. It's a general breakdown. Dan, did you ever see that bodies exhibit that was going around and still going around in museums where they show you bodies with the skin?
I know what you're referring to, yeah.
You know what I'm talking to, right? So they show you the bodies with the skin off of it. And it almost looks like meat. It almost looks like steak. That's the connective and muscle tissue that makes up 80% or more of our bodies. This is the part that thins. It starts to shrivel up as we get older. And your cartilage is part of that connective and muscle tissue. So basically, all of that stuff is starting to thin and break down and not get repaired. So what do? Well, there's two factors. Well, there's actually three, but we're going to talk about two here. Number one, you've got to eliminate anything that keeps the building process from occurring. The connective tissue is always rebuilding itself, but over time, the things get into the system that interfere with that building. Sugar is the most important. Got to restrict the intake of sugar. Any kind of pro-inflammatory foods have to be eliminated, and that means processed foods and trans fatty acids in addition to refined carbohydrates and sugar. So eliminating pro-inflammatory foods is step number one. That's to take the bad stuff out. Then you got to put the good stuff in. Protein, as you're pointing out, is extremely important, but it doesn't have to be meat protein. It can be vegetable protein, it can be bean protein, and it can be egg and dairy protein as well. But a good source of protein is very important. Also, cartilage-containing products. We talk about chicken soup and bone soup on this program all the time. Homemade chicken soup with the cartilage and with the bones is unbelievably important for building connective tissue. That means building bone, building cartilage, building blood vessel connective tissue, and skin connective tissue. Chicken soup is one of the best anti-wrinkle foods ever. Just as good as any wrinkle cream you could use. So cartilage-containing products, also supplements that contain cartilage, like the glucogel caps, in addition to the bone soup, the homemade chicken soup. And make sure you're dissolving that cartilage with a little bit of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice in the water. You can use hyaluronic acid capsules. This will provide you raw materials for building cartilage. Resistance training. You said you're a former athlete. I hope you're not laying off the resistance training because of your joints, because that will help build connective tissue. Vitamin C is ridiculously important for building connective tissue. In fact, you can't build connective tissue without it. And most of us are getting the RDA vitamin C, the 60 milligrams a day. That's nowhere near enough. Get on the Healthy Start Pack. Use your Biolumin Nightly Essence probiotics to stabilize digestive health, because if the digestive system is breaking down, you're not going to be able to absorb your nutrients. And by the way, the digestive system is also made up of connective tissue. So using these strategies will help you build up your digestive system. Make sure you're sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in addition to using your glucogel caps. So one more thing I'll tell you about, but I didn't mean to interrupt, Dan. What were you going to say?
No, you actually answered it. I was going to ask vitamin C, what's going to be a good transmitter for that? I think you mentioned
Beyond Tangy
bioluminescent.
No, that's not vitamin C. That's for the digestive system. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is what you want to do for your vitamin C. Sip on it all day long. You might want to take a little bit of extra vitamin C also. And then we're going to be talking about this in the coming days, and we don't talk about it anywhere near enough on this program or any programs, and that's the importance of enzymes, systemic enzymes, for several reasons. Number one, enzymes are important for helping you absorb your nutrients, but number two, enzymes are also important in the systemic fashion for helping keep inflammation down so that you can rebuild your cartilage. So get yourself on a good enzyme product. I've got a bunch of good enzyme products at brightsidehealthproducts.com. You can also use your ultimate enzymes. You'll find that at criticalhealthnews.com or also brightsideben.com. All right, got lots of wonderful strategies there. Let me give you one more that I like. Liquid silica gel. And it's hard to find. There's only one company that I found that makes it. It's called Abkit, A-B-K-I-T. liquid silica gel. Anybody recovering from surgery or dealing with connective tissue or joint disease or degenerative joint disease, liquid silica gel. Do a couple tablespoons full of that a day. All right, I want to move on. Is there anything else, Dan?
Thanks
Is that good?
a lot.
Thank you. God bless you, my friend. Yeah?
You too.
Okay. All right, Maria in Florida. Welcome to the bright side. What's up? Maria. You there? Do we have Maria? Maria, I'm going to let you go. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Hear me?
Oh, hey, Maria. I'm about to hang up on you. Saved by the bell there. What's going on?
Yes, I'm so happy to be able to be talking to you today. And that a friend of mine introduced me to you. I've been listening for over a month now, and I cannot get tired of listening to your great advice.
Praise God. Thank you. I appreciate that, Maria. How can we help you today?
Okay, my thing, I've never heard what's going on with me before. And I'm a 54-year-old menopause woman.
Okay. Are you in Miami by any chance? Are you a Cubano?
No, I'm Puerto Rican.
Oh, you're Puerto Rican. Okay.
But yes, I am Miami.
Okay. Love Miami.
Yes.
Go ahead. We only have about a minute, so we got to get to the chase.
My mouth is on. It was 2 days on fire. That's how it started. Awful. Like a piece of pizza inside my mouth that you could never get it out.
Okay.
And then it just kept happening, like on and on. My lips were on fire. All
right, I'm going to run out of time. That's called burning mouth syndrome, and it's very common. And doctors think it's a mouth problem. It's not a mouth problem. It's a nerve problem. It's an inflammatory problem. You got diabetes or blood sugar issues? I know you do, but are they diagnosed?
They just told me pre-diabetic last year.
I know. I'm telling you. I'm not a psychic. I'm not psychic, Maria. I'm only a pharmacist. But this is how it works. And you go to the doctor and they'll say, oh, it's a mystery because they can't find anything in the mouth. It's not in the mouth. It's in the nerves. It's an inflammatory condition. And you want to handle this the same way. If you've been listening to this program for a month, you know that I'm going to tell you exactly the same thing that I tell people when they have joint disease or when they have hemorrhoids or when they have a skin problem. Number one, you got to focus on anything that's getting into the blood that's causing this inflammation. And that means correct digestive issues. Do a food diary, elimination diet, do all the supplements you can think of for the digestive system, including probiotics, the Biolumin Nightly Essence, digestive enzymes, apple cider vinegar. I guarantee you, Maria, if you stop eating for 3 days, the burning in the mouth will subside. Then you also got to start stabilizing the blood sugar. Make sure you're using your relaxation techniques. Maria, I'm out of time, but there's more I want to tell you. If you can call back, I hate to make you do this, but if you can call back on our next episode, I'll be glad to address your question more fully. Or you can send me an email, ben@ksco.com. Maria, put your phone number on there, and I'll address your questions personally. We'll give you a call. All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, friends, for listening to The Bright Side. Check out my website, brightsideben.com. And if you're interested in purchasing any of my skin health products, go to truthtreatments.com. Have a spectacular, awesome, beautiful day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.